Alright, welcome back to another Mask of Momentum video. Peter here. Today, we got the semifinals of the Calling in Memphis. We just finished recording the quarterfinals of Memphis, which is a banger if you haven't watched it already. Just completely good. Fortunately, got that Kano miss. And, the Kano lost the game. Really love watching Kano. Today, we got actually two of the one of the greatest players currently in the World Tour point race. Got Jacob Clements coming all the way from Europe for this event. Actually played him in this event. Nice guy. Very good player. Very good player. On new. Was actually X2 and maybe got that 8th place by losing late into the game. And then we got, on the left, Bruce Spurlock, bro. Like, everybody knows who Bruce Spurlock is, okay? We don't got to get into it. We know who he is. The boy wonder here. Playing Cindra. Cindra specifically is super cool. Just came out on this release weekend. Everybody was like super excited about playing. Everybody's super excited about playing that Irish deck with the needles before this event. And, after they banned the needles before this event, everybody's trying to figure out, what else could you play? Yuki the Bender, one of the best deck builders in the game. Also, a great teammate, if you didn't know. Built this Cindra list, gave it to Brody to play as well. And then Brody here, piloting all the way to the semifinals so far, is playing against Jacob's new here. Chose to go second. Cindra pretty much always wants to go second. If it's just a full red line deck that Brody is playing, is always going to go second. This Art of Desire blue has 0 targets in Brody's deck. It is never going to banish a red, but is going to banish action cards and gain a life, but isn't going to banish any blues. Only has reds and 3 yellow brand with Cinder Claw here. Brody thinking. Brody, it's iconic for thinking. Okay. Thought about playing this at 1.25. Surely. Let me just put this at 1.25. There we go. 1.25. All right. We got it. We got it going. We got it going here. All right. I won't let us sit here like this. Brody, still thinking on turn 0 here. It's been 2 minutes. Yeah, we're basically thinking about what he can do. He has that dragon fodder the 1 cost in his hand, but needs a fealty token to make it a 1 for 7. Currently a 1 for 4 without it. Has that brand though, so he can brand, flick, get the resource, make it there. But thinking about the reactions in his hand, he could just have, a Just the Nick in hand, trying not to take damage on turn 0, but has to think about deck quantity. Jacob is not playing CYBs in his deck. He's playing the more attack disruption new, so isn't going to gain a whole bunch of life, but is going to hit. Is going to hit hard. Is going to hit with a lot of disruption. Okay, that's the name. That's the plan for Jacob this entire time. Birdie, think about blocks here. Is to give 3 cards here. Is going to block for a total of 7. There's no arsenal that card. Birdie got 1 card in his hand. Both players drawing up here. We got 2 shelters in hand, a Tarantula Toxin. And looks like be a red 0 for 3 in his hand, and then whatever's in the arsenal from Jacob's side. Got that Sigil on turn 0. He's going to give him 3 life. Go to 43 here. Oath of Loyalty here from Brody. 4 go again. Can only play Draconic cards this turn, and it has to be the first, but Brody is only playing red cards, most of them being Draconic here. Comes the 4. Brody thinking about either sending with the Flick Knives, dealing 1 damage, unpreventable basically, unless he wants to discard the shelter, is going to discard that shelter. So you've seen 2 shelters already from Jacob. Then we have a 3 go again here, and it's going to come in, have a fealty, because it is that second Draconic Chain Link here. Makes a fealty. Jacob thinking has 2 prevention floating from that shelter that he discarded. So he could block this or not. His hand didn't really look too good. Is there a non-block here? Take 2. We have another 3 with go again here. So block the 3 with that Tarantula Toxin. Was thinking about mass momentum triggers and stuff like that. Birdie, just gonna get back that kunai because he had triple Draconic Chain Link in his arsenal. That last card there. Jacob sending the 0-3 does not have to go again, but he's gonna draw a card if he banishes a red. Most likely is going to banish a red. Birdie's deck is majority red line. So see what he does. See if Birdie wants to block or not. If he blocks, most likely it's going to be a red card and Jacob will draw. It's not really relevant here because he has, it's not like he can draw a card and then react right after, but could get a sigil, could get something else as well. Birdie just going to take the 3, which most likely going to do. It's going to be a good hit here. The Oath of Loyalty getting banished. Jacob drawing a random card, just going to draw back up. Does not really matter too much. Still has that arsenal for disruption. Birdie had a ninja attack, so couldn't play it last turn with the Oath of Loyalty, but this one's actually really good. It's going to be a 0-3. The next Draconic Chain Link that you play gets an additional +1. It's very good in this deck, and it is going to be a red starter for specifically that Blaze Headlong that is usually 0-4, but it's a 0-5 because of the additional +1 from that I think it's a first tenant or something. Judge telling Jacob to move over a little bit or something about that, but judge staff super nice guys. I actually had a couple judge calls this weekend with that exact judge, and very professional going through. We got what looks like to be double 0-3, and we have an ancestral empowerment in Birdie's hand here. So we've hit one time. We have the Flick Knives to cheat out a second hit, basically. And then we're trying to get that third hit with the Mask Momentum if we can. So Birdie, most likely, is just going to start with that 0-3, one of the 0-3s in his hand. If his opponent blocks, he's going to kunai. And then still get the hit of the chain with that Flick Knives interaction with Mask of Momentum. And then is probably going to send another 0-3. Hope that Jacob doesn't block, or he blocks just for 3 and get him with that ancestral empowerment as well. This is going to be the 0-3. If it hits, you're going to mark your opponent. Kind of interesting he plays this one and not the other 0-3 first. The other 0-3, so 100% going to get blocked, right? So now he just has Lava Vein loyalty, but he's going to, and hot on the heels is a ninja card, so ancestral would have done there. Kind of misses the mark token on this turn. He's going to draw an extra card with Mask Momentum. Draws a 1-for-5 and then a 0-for-4 here. What he can do is pop this fealty, play that 0-for-4 in his hand. He's going to go again, and then the next thing is going to cost 1 less, which is going to be that breaking point. So you get 0-4 and then hit breaking point. Most likely, Jacob has already blocked with 3 cards this turn. Can't block the breaking point unless he keeps that last card and takes the 4 on the first one and then blocks with double equipment plus that. But this is what Birdie's going to do. Pops that fealty here. It's going to be 0-for-4 with go again. Jacob posturing here if he's going to block or not. Doesn't block. He's going to take the full 4 here, respecting what could be on the last. It's going to be that breaking point. Does Jacob want to keep his arsenal if he has a 3 block? And there, looks like he isn't. He's going to take the full 5 here. And that Codex of Frailty is going to get popped. Did not get to see what the card was in Jacob's hand either. Jacob does, oh, it was another Codex of Frailty, so couldn't block if he wanted to on there. Birdie kind of overpowering these steps of blocking here. He's going to choose the only real target in his arsenal from Jacob, just the 0-for-3. Birdie thinking about what to put in his own arsenal. Already thinking about what to put. If he wants to put a 1 cost, if he wants to put a 0 cost. So I'm going to get the -1 from the Frailty token. We know that for sure. And there's going to be a 0-for-3 coming at him. So I'm going to banish a card from Birdie's deck, or maybe a 3 block from hand as well. But most likely we'll draw a card because he wants to banish a red card specifically. So Jacob will probably end on a card in his hand, and then additionally with that Ponder token, it's we'll have a look at 2 cards to see what he wants to put in his arsenal. But this is a belly of 0 for 4s. He's going to pick the 0 for 3. That's going to make a fealty token. This gives us a little bit of thought that he wants to make a fealty token for something later in the game or maybe this turn. There's a lot of 1 for 5s in this deck and a lot of cards in this deck that want to become draconic. That's why they play 6 brands, but also a couple of these fealty generations. That's going to be another one. It's going to be that 1 for 4 that makes a fealty on attack as well. Draws a card, is going to look at the ponder, sees another card, sees which one he wants to arsenal or not. We got 34-27 here. We got a with a loyalty 0 for 4 from hand from Brody. Just a powerful starter here. Takes 4, goes to 23. Something really powerful about the Cindra deck is it really does not care about swinging the kunais. Really just cares about flicking them and getting additional value through that. Now he's playing that display loyalty, which is going to be 0 for 2, but he's going to make that fealty. Then we have a blaze headlong for 4, go again. So we've already attacked for 8 this turn. So it'll block with the Siren's Call and the arm. Siren's Call does not have any targets in this game. Is going to attack. Use the Flick Knives for 1 here. See if Jacob wants to do anything. Then Birdie's actually just going to re-equip the kunai here and just going to pass the turn. So Birdie didn't have a 1 for 5, or he would have used the chess piece there. It's kind of just trying to set up more and maximize his turns. There's going to be a levels of enlightenment getting pitched here. Going to come in with that Mistblade 4-1. Birdie thinking about blocks. If he wants to block this Mistblade, he's up by 14 life. His opponent does have 2 more cards in his hand and an arsenal here, which is a lot of damage against Brody. Specifically, we already have a levels of enlightenment getting pitched to the Mistblade, which is usually a little particular. If he had another blue, he probably would have pitched it for the Mistblade to try to get the levels, that +1 and go again. Sometimes you can do all 3 modes with levels very, very easily in this new deck. These levels just so impactful in this Mistblade Heroes is pretty good. Still thinking about this Mistblade coming in from against Brody here. Something to think about here is that equipment suite from Brody. He could block for 1 with just his boots here, but then he would be giving up a lot of equity in his his equipment suite. Something with the Cindra deck that you have to understand is the armor really isn't used to be blocked with besides the boots just for 1. Like, also to keep fealty, you have to attack every single turn. The Blood Splattered Vest is really just using for resource. The Flick Knives also blocks for 1, and the boots block for 1, and the Mask Punch blocks for 2. But you're not really using these equipment to block any on hits because they all have Blade Break besides the boots have Battle Worn. But they're really value engines for the deck, right? The Flick Knives Mask Momentum combo, super good and very, very underrated a lot of the time here. All right. We're getting a little bit. All right. Yep. We do have the boots block from Brody to stop that Mistblade. And we're going to pitch that just the Nick here for CNC. Now, Brody can either take this 6 and his arsenal getting destroyed, or he can block with 2 cards in his hand. Brody thinking about blocking the CNC, has double 1 for 5 in his hand. Those are 1 for 7s, but maybe he wants. Ooh, looks like he has a very awkward hand. He drew 3 of the one cost here, the one costs don't have go again specifically. We don't know what's in his arsenal, but he looks like he has a 0 for 4 that is going art of the body here. So is it a block? Is a block 6 here? Ooh. We have the wave here. The tunic to Fang strike here for additional +1. So gonna take the 1. It's pretty interesting. Maybe seems like a little bit of oversight. There's just a wax on here. This is going to be the defensive reaction here. So it's not like he's going to, be doing anything drastic here. But something we have is that fealty token here. So I'm going to give this go again. So it's going to be 0 for 4 with go again. And then we have that 1 cost 5 attack that's going to mark your opponent on attack because we've played another red card and it's an attack for 5. That card, super, super good, I found in limited and has now found constructed play as a one of in this deck, but is quite good for to get that mark and fealty generation. Birdie, does he want to use kunai, not use kunai? That is a question. Let's go into flick. Just for additional damage here. Cannot get it back. Ooh, is going to use a resource here. Looks like he's going to use the resource for another additional 1. Okay, that's what he wants to do. He wants to make this 5 have to be blocked, or the Masculine Momentum hit triggers mastery of this deck, really trying to get the maximized value. Make Jacob either block this 5 to allow him to have a better turn later. Yep, so he gets the double block from Jacob. His hand not too good. He's going to use that Cindra activation and get 1 back. Nice use of the Flick Knives plus that resource token here to try to get that last mask here. We got that misplaced again. Last time there was a misblade, we did think for 4 minutes. Maybe, hopefully, less this time. Birdie's hand looks like Ignite, Blaze Headlong, Ancestral Empowerment, and another 0 cost. The one that gives the next Draconic Chain Link +1. Oh, okay, so we're playing the levels from the arsenal. We're going to draw a card. It's going to have Go Again and +1. So it's going to be 4 with Go Again. Birdie taking the 4. Looks like Jacob is just going to pass the turn here. Does he not arsenal this card? Does not arsenal this card. I wonder what it is. There's not a lot of cards I wouldn't arsenal in this hand. Maybe it was the Siren's Call. It can't even cast the Siren's Call. Well, he can cast the Siren's Call, but it's not like he's going to get a blue from the Cindra deck. Ignite, attacking for 2. He's going to come in for 1 with the Kunai here. Jacob's going to take the 1 as well. Then we have 3 Go Again here. He's going to block for 3. He's an Ancestral Empowerment. He's going to draw a card. He's going to draw an additional card because of the Mask Momentum. And the Mark token would have already hit at the beginning for that fealty. Looks like he has Defense Reaction, Blaze Headlong, and a 0 for 3. If you cannot see the amazing shuffling happening there. So we have the 0 for 3 hot on their heels. It's going to mark your opponent if it hits. And then it'll be a 0 for 4 to end us off here. But we're going to get a block on the 0 for 3. Does Jacob want to? Was thinking about it. No, it's actually just going to take the 3, go to 10, and get it marked again. It's going to be for 4, actually, because of the chain link right before it. It's going to be for 4. It goes down to 9. We have another Blaze Headlong here. It's going to be 4 with Go Again. Jacob just getting chipped down so drastically. This is what this Cindra deck does so well, and it's going to get the Flick Knives to get the Kunai out of there as well. It's going to get that second fealty token as well. It's going to get back both Kunai because both of them are in the graveyard. It has enough Draconic Chain Links as well, and it's going to arsenal that wax on the defense reaction that's going to block a 0 for 5. Looks like we have Rotten Remains in hand. It's going to attack for 1. cannot banish cards because both players don't have 1/1. So I'm gonna check if he has any ones in his graveyard. Does not. It's just going to be the daggers. Is going to gain a life off the homage and mask his opponent. Birdie's hand looks like 0 for 3, 0 for 3, a 0 for 4. Classic Cindra. Just having a whole bunch of head jabs, 0 cost spells. Super Birdie, obviously, no blocks on this, is just going to take the 1. It's going to banish. Just a Renegade at 0 for 3 here. Jacob's going to draw up. Birdie coming in with a different head jab. This one is Rising Resentment. This one sometimes has text. You should know that sometimes it does have text, because if it's not the first chain link, although it is this time, ooh, he has a EA shelter coming there to stop the kunai activation from the flick knives as well. So doesn't really take 2 off the brand. And there's a Ravenous Rabble. We have 3 Draconic Chain Links here, so we can get back the kunai as well. Just the amount of leak damage here from the Cindra deck is so great. Jacob has just been blocking this entire game and just was taking so much damage, barely done damage to Brody. We have a Knight again, making the next thing cost 1 less. It's going to take 2 here. Most likely, we're going to get that kunai swing. It's going to be 1 go again. Does Jacob want to block? Probably does not want to block this, just 1. Oh, blocks with the boots. Brody could have flick knives here to make this 1 hit and then present an on hit on the next one. Or we can let this one go and keep attacking throughout this chain. The game with the mask of momentum, super, super impactful. Does not go for it. This is going to be a 0 for 3. If this one hits, you can throw a dagger at your opponent. He's going to throw a dagger anyways. He's going to attack with another 0 for 3. This one's going to make a field T. This one gets blocked again. So there's no mask of momentum on this turn, most likely. Brody thinking with his last card in hand. This would be another 0 for 3. This one will mark on hit. So his hand was just a 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 3, 0 for 3. This is a 4-card 12 here. 4-card 13 with the flick knives, basically. His opponent has Pass Over and Preserve Tradition. He's at 3, though. He's just going to block with the mask. Take 1. Gonna get that mark. He's going to Pass Over Preserve Tradition, get one of the kunai out of the way. It's not super, super impactful that a lot of people thought at the very beginning. So I'm going to put that Codex to the bottom, but had double non-block in his hand on this turn. Just not good. Jacob just in a bad place to be in this game. Doesn't have a mask anymore. Just have double chi in hand. Just has a random arsenal. Did not see any of the disruption early. Could not slow down the Cindra assault here. And just getting chipped out of the game. It's going to be 1 and 1 here with the double chi. Has 2 floating. Misblade, and then that Spider's Bite. And then we have a Prognosis, which is going to come in for 2 here. But he has a shelter, and I know he has another defense reaction in his arsenal, so he can definitely cover this no matter what. Even though the Spider Bite hit, the Mistblade hit, does not matter. This is just 2 here coming from Brody. He has double defense reaction, depends on which one he wants to use. If he wants to keep the 5, nope. He's going to leave the 5. He's going to keep the shelter in his hand. Ignite. 2 go again here. Cannot not block this now. Kunai is going to be free here. So use the Tunic here. And we have a 0 for 3. If it can shoot the Kunai, that is lethal. That one hits. This is going to be another 0 for 3. So I'll block this one as well. Throw the Kunai here. So block for 4 as well. And all Brody has to do is just attack and then flick the knives here. Jacob cannot really stop this unless it is a sigil doing some thematics, but it doesn't have it. Brody winning the semifinals game in very convincing fashion with Cindra is going to move on to the finals. I'll see you guys in the next episode for that one. See you then.